Get why some people just won't watch the news. They can't do it. Mental space, they won't be able to bear the pain when they see these young soldiers with their whole future in front of them, sacrificing their lives in the sands of Gaza, so Israel will be saved from her enemies and security will return to our borders and peace will return. And it's tragic. And we're seeing an escalation on the Lebanon border. Will it really be Lebanon 3? I fought in Lebanon 2, the Second Lebanon War. But you see these anti-tank guided missiles, mortar shells, rockets being shot, guided missiles being shot onto Israeli communities. And of course, you know that Kiryat Shmona, Metula, Mevot Hermon, Upper Galilee, Mateh Asher, people are having to close, and many of these places are evacuated, but closing roads entirely, and it's heating up. And you probably know it's also intensifying in Gaza. There's still the whole hotbed, major city of Rafah, which is not too far from Rafah, which is the border with Egypt. And you have clashes in the eastern part of Al-Burij and in central Gaza as well. And so we're seeing that Netanyahu said, we are going to up this. We're going to intensify the battle right now. People thought we were going to start to de-escalate. No, we are escalating. We're also going to do the 37-mile Gaza periphery. We're going to put a half-mile border around the entire, so no one can come up on the fence, dig tunnels under us. We are having a buffer zone. Only Israeli forces will be allowed to enter, and it's going to provide us a little bit of a buffer here. During this time, we're seeing people, and I love Arabs. You know, I love Arabs, and I always have. They're the sons and daughters of Abraham too, just like Jews. What we don't love is this mafia style, killing, stealing, raping, murder, that whole thing, holding them in oppression. The Hamas is holding their own people under oppression, and we're breaking the chains of the oppressor right now, of the tyranny. Tyranny is being broken, and it's starting to come out where Arabs are saying, look, we gotta be free of these people. Oh wait, suddenly Gaza's been getting electricity, water, gas, fuel for free from Israel. What other country, what other Arab country doesn't pay water or electric or fuel bills? Gaza's receiving $30 million a month from Qatar, $120 million from the UN, $50 million from European Union, $30 million from America. Jobs coming to work in Israel. Other Arab countries around don't even have $1 million given to them. People are discovering, wait, Gaza was not besieged. Goods are entering. Residents were traveling to Egypt through Egypt crossing. And you see that Gaza has a much better living standard than many of the other Arab countries around. People are starting to notice this and say, wait a second, look how many hospitals there are there. 37 hospitals or something in Gaza. And it's just sad that the corruption, the money stealing of the Hamas, it's been so dark, holding the people under oppression. And they just can't blame Israel for that. They realize it's Hamas to blame. And so they realize that there's a Muslim Brotherhood media lie that they've been forced into. And they're seeing it's a lie. And people are starting, the truth will set them free. And you look at the very covenant of the Islamic resistance movement, Hamas, Hurakat Mohammiya, the Hamas. It's founded in 1988, August 18th, this Islamic resistance movement, and it has some basic tenets, basic things. The goals is to, in Article 6 is to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine. Okay, destroying Israel, it says. It says in Article 11, that the Muslim generations will rise until Judgment Day, and they will liberate all of the Islamic land, meaning kill it. That's in Article 13. It's the duty, they say, of every Muslim wherever they may be. There's a call to jihad, Article 15, to destroy the Jews. And so it says they must join in military, Article 33, until the liberation is achieved and the invaders vanquished. They talk about, this is in their charter, right? And rejection of all peace. They should, Article 13, no peace with the Jews ever, and they just have to live in this violent. This is what they think. Condemnation of the peace treaty. You had the wonderful Anwar Sadat making peace. Article 32 condemns it. Anti-Semitic, Article 7, anti-Semitic. It's quoting from the Quran. Jews that are hiding behind the rocks and the trees will cry out, "Hey Muslim, there's a Jew hiding behind her. Come and kill him." And it goes on, and it has anti-Semitic tropes in it. And it goes in Article 22 saying Zionism must end, and it's really, really wrong how they say. Then I look at the independence of Israel in juxtaposition to that. We have Megillat Ha'atzmaut. We don't have a constitution. We have the basic laws, and we have the signed by all the fathers of Israel, the independence of Israel parchment, right? So we also have some things. The UN in 1947 voted Resolution 181 that we have a independent state, also an Arab one. They didn't want the Arab state, but we were offered one alongside an Arab state. We said yes. They said no. And it says in our Constitution, or in our Declaration of Independence, I'll just quote from our article: the resolution requires that no discrimination of any kind will be made between the inhabitants in Israel on the grounds of race, religion, language, or sex. And it says protecting all the holy places, all the buildings, all the sites, Jerusalem, based on freedom, the state of Israel. This is paragraph 13 of Israel's Declaration of Independence, based on freedom, justice, peace, ensuring complete equality, social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, sex, guaranteed freedom of conscience, language, education, culture. And I look at all this, and it all says based on the Rock of Israel. The covenant made with Abraham. This is what it's all based on. Genesis 17, verse 7 through 8, that God is faithful to his covenant. You see that in Jeremiah 33, that God has called Israel to be a light to the nations. And here's the thing. God has a plan for all the sons and daughters of Abraham. Just look up Genesis 1, verse 26 and 28, Arabs and Jews. And yet what's happening is and I look at these two next to each other, and I see people need to recognize what is evil and what is good. I pity the person who didn't look at the Hamas charter before they started being pro-Hamas and parading in the streets with a flag of a country that doesn't exist. It's not a country. It doesn't exist. And so we need to go back to truth and look that there is a great resurrection of Israel, Ezekiel 36, a great resurrection of this country. And the nations are going to stream here, Zechariah 14, verse 16. And it is promised by God to the Jewish people. We are excited to stand on these promises, even if extremists, violent criminals will come against us. We will stand on the promises. We will defend this one democracy in the Middle East.